Hey everybody, my name's Nico and I'm with Travel and Teach Recruiting, and today I'm going to talk to you about background checks for teaching in Korea. Just to give you a background on myself, I taught and lived in Korea for a year and a half, and I currently work as a placement coordinator who helps send teachers there. One of the most important visa process documents for teaching in Korea is getting a police background check. So no matter what country you come from, you're going to have to get a background check. However, each country has slightly different rules and a slightly different name for the check. So here are just a few basic things that apply to everybody. So first, the background checks are only valid for 6 months. So if you've gotten a background check in the past, whether it was a year ago or 2 years ago or 5 years ago, you can't use that. You have to get a new one, because from the day you get it, it is only good for 6 months. So also this is important when planning out when you're going to get it, because you don't want to get it too early or it'll expire. If you want to be in Korea within 2 to 3 months, that is a good point to get it. But even if you think you might start teaching in 5 months, you might want to wait a little bit because things can get delayed and maybe you don't find the perfect position, exactly when you're expecting to. So rather wait a little bit so you don't have to redo the background check. So the other uniform issue for everybody, no matter which country you're coming from, is that you have to get your background check apostilled. Now, a big caveat for this is that this doesn't apply to you if you're from Canada. I'll explain the Canadian rules in a bit, but everybody else, you have to get your background check, your police background check, apostilled. And if you don't know what apostilling is, you can just Google it. But basically, it's a fancier kind of notarization, and it's required by the Korean Immigration Office. So I mentioned that Canadians have a slightly different process. So to begin with, Canadians have to get an RCMP check. That's their version of the national level police background check. Also, you should note that you have to have a check with a photo on it. So not every RCMP office does this, but if you don't get a photo on your police check, it will not be accepted by the Korean Immigration Office, and you'll likely lose your job or at least get delayed a few months. So make sure that when you're getting it done, you ask ahead of time, will this have a photo on it? And if you don't know where to get this, you can do it at any commissionaire's office in Canada. So I also mentioned that the RCMP check doesn't have to be apostilled. What Canadians have to do is once you have your police check, you have to take it to a Korean consulate in Canada so it can receive consulate approval. That's basically the Canadian equivalent of getting an apostille. For Americans, you have to get an FBI background check. Now, some people in the past have made the mistake of getting a state level check. Do not do this. The Korean Immigration Office will not accept a state level check, even if you've only lived in the same state your whole life, even if you've never even left that state. They won't accept it. So make sure you get an FBI background check. Also, you want to make sure that you don't go through the State Department. So again, it's possible to order your FBI check basically directly through the FBI. However, this is notoriously slow. If you do this, it can take at least 3 or 4 months to get your background check back. The good news is that there are several private companies that basically expedite this process. So if you go through like a regular recruiting agency like us, we can give you the specific information for one of those private companies. You get a discount if you go with us, and you'll get your background check back within 1 to 2 weeks. So you definitely want to do that. It's not expensive, and we're talking about the difference between like a week and a half versus 4 months. So for the other countries, each country kind of has its own unique name. So if you're a Brit, you're going to want to order a basic disclosure. If you're Australian, you'll be ordering a federal police check. And then South Africans and people from New Zealand will order a police clearance. So one final note on these police background checks, and I think this should be obvious, but still it slips people's minds, is that the whole point of these checks is that they're checking for any serious violations, especially violations involving drugs or alcohol. So if you've had any of these issues in the past, they will come up on your background check. These are intense national, federal level background checks, and if you've done something, they will find it. And if it's on there and the Korean Immigration Office sees it, you won't be able to teach. So, hopefully after watching this video, you guys have a better understanding of exactly the background checks for teaching in Korea. If you enjoyed the video and want to see more like it, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. And if you're interested in teaching in Korea, just check out the links below to get started.